All for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Apologies, I'm late. This was always going to be a later one than normal. I'm not even sure if people can even hear me. Oh, you can. I can see my mic is connected. I have internet issues in my cave at the moment. I have internet issues here, and I've been tearing the place apart trying to run a cable from my house out here to my podcasting boudoir, and I've failed so far. So that's why I'm a bit late, because I was hoping I would have it all sorted, but no, we're running off the trusty Wi-Fi hotspot off my phone at the moment. So I do apologize. I apologize for my tardiness. But do you know who wasn't tardy? And that was Aston Villa getting the team out, because I can see the team here, and I'm sure you've all seen it, discussed it, dissected it, whatever you want. But we're going to bring the team up here and we're going to discuss it. And I'm going to rely on your comments here as well, guys, because we won't have Paddy today. Paddy's at the game. I think he's over in the Aston Social, actually, where we will be doing a podcast on the 19th of April. But here is the Aston Villa team. Martinez in goals, Cash, Diego Carlos, Pau Torres and Alex Moreno, Bailey, McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Rogers, Diaby and Watkins. And not a whole lot of it is surprise there. And the reason I say not a whole lot of a surprise is because I always thought that Rodgers would get this game today, but I was never fully 100% sure that the Tielemans might be so with McGinn being out, the Tielemans would slot into that 8th position. I was never fully sure of that, and the thing that kind of spells that is going to be the case for me is obviously that Tielemans is rested today. I think Tielemans did look a small bit leggy at the weekend, especially if you're going to play him in the 6th position. He's been given a bit of rest tonight, as has Longley, as has Digne, and it's going to be interesting to see how this team goes. There's all the talent in the world in that team out there, so I'm expecting a win from that team at home in front of our fans tonight, and also expecting the man that's shown in the Chiron there in the graphic to have a banger of a game, because as was a surprise to quite a few people, Moussa Diaby was named in the French squad today. So he's had a great day so far as Moussa, and let's hope that he caps it off with the goal against Ajax tonight. And hopefully it's the winning goal, because it's as I say, this is a big game for us tonight, and it'll be big for morale. It'll be big for the night that it is within Villa Park. And as I said, Paddy's over at it today, and I know a load of lads are gone over here from Ireland. I wish them all safe travels back again, because I know a lot of them are getting on the plane more or less. I don't know, is it red eye in the morning and coming straight home for work tomorrow. So best of luck with that, guys, but more so best of luck to Aston Villa today. The bench is Olsen, Gauchi, Tielemans, Digne, Longley, Duran, Kessler Hayden, Irogbunum and Kelly. So Kellyman, sorry, should I say? I've got Paddy on the brain. So it's no Ramsey there as Cat Cannon. Yeah, I didn't think that Ramsey would be playing today. I don't know. Has there ever actually been an injury reason given for Ramsey? But I expect him to be back sooner rather than later, and so does Unai Emery. So hopefully he is somebody who comes back into the mix. Maybe at the weekend, maybe he comes back into the mix for the week after, but who knows? But we do need him back very, very quickly, specifically with McGinn being out injured as well. Dream Villain asks, no, Zaniolo. Zaniolo is actually suspended for tonight. Picked up that stupid yellow card that wasn't a yellow card last week, and he is injured. And Paul Miller, thank you so much, Paul. Paul gifted 20 memberships. Wow. Thanks so much, Paul. That's really, really generous. Thank you for gifting those. That's amazing. I really, really appreciate that, Paul. You're a legend. And here we go. That's one of them there that you gifted. And the YouTube algorithm, I think, fires us out to people at random to give you membership for the coming week, or the coming month, should I say. Pop into the comments there what your thoughts are on this, and I'll read them out there. But I'm happy to see Diego Carlos back in there. We'll take a look at the Ajax team in a moment. I'm gonna bring up the Ajax team in a second, but I'm happy to see Diego Carlos back in there. Not that Longley has done anything poor or anything like that, but when we've got these guys fit, I think that Unai is a lot more. I think he wants Diego Carlos in there. You know, we've seen it when we played the big games against Man City and Arsenal where we won. Diego Carlos was in there, and he was there beside Pau Torres with Konza right back and Digne at left back. And I've got a funny feeling that Unai wants to get back to that back four. Well, I don't have a funny feeling. He should want to get back to that back four because we were playing some really good stuff with them there. But I think midfield is where this game is going to be won and lost. Diaby is going to play up top beside Watkins. Rodgers is going to play from the left, and I'm super interested in looking at him for the whole lot of this 90 minutes today. I hope he stays on for. I hope he doesn't come off early for whatever reason, but I'm really looking forward to seeing him play at Villa Park under the lights. Yes, he played in Amsterdam, different atmosphere. A lot of people made reference to the fact that, you know, Villa have to learn how to play in those partisan atmospheres when you go away to the Amsterdam arena, or when you go away in Bosnia like we did previously. You know, or even against Warsaw, you come up against fans that are loud, they are intimidating. There's pyrotechnics going off, there's whatever, you know, and they're really organized fans in a good way, you know, from that point of view, to cheer on their team. That's not to say that we don't do that as Villa fans, but it's a different prospect for, I suppose, younger players going that haven't been to Europe and faced that. Because let's be honest, you're not going to get that at Fulham. You're not going to get that at 90% of the grounds in the Premier League. And it does take a small look. And I know they're professionals; they should be able to adapt to that. But you know, for somebody who's never experienced that moment, no matter who you are, you're going to for a couple of minutes, you're going to be caught in the headlights there as well. Now we're back at home in Villa Park, familiar surroundings. I'm looking forward to seeing what Rodgers does. I'm hoping Diaby has an absolute sparkler of a game tonight. My pick is Diaby will score tonight, and I think we're going to see a good performance from him. And I think Villa are going to do the business tonight under lights at Villa Park. I absolutely do. Where else are we? Yeah, so C Line I says big night at B6. The boys are going to get it done. I absolutely hope so. Snifferat says at Paul Miller, you're a superstar, mate, and that I absolutely agree with also. Where else are we? I'm just scrolling down there. Yeah, so Damien L says Diaby, Rodgers, and Bailey attacking three behind Watkins. I don't think it's as simple as that, them being an attacking tree as a static attacking tree, but yes, they'll be the flying W that Villa normally play, with McGinn getting up in support, I would imagine. That's definitely what I'm thinking anyway. Rodgers being on the left-hand side. Andrew Monroe says that lineup looks good. Looking forward to seeing Rodgers play 90 minutes. Definitely a player in there. Really hoping for a good night for our boy Diaby. It's like as if you've plucked it out of my mind, Andrew. You've stopped robbing my thoughts, please. But I think exactly the same. I'm hoping for exactly the same there as well. Aston Villa armchair fan he's banking on a 2-1 victory for tonight. I'd be more comfortable with a 2-0 victory, but 2-1 doesn't seem out of the realms of possibility for sure. I nearly read out my own comment saying I'll be on in a minute. Yeah, Keith Kelly says get a set of decos, they work brilliantly. Well, Keith, let me indulge you in my story once more. I have a mesh system from a technology company beginning with an L and ending in an Inksies, and it cost me quite a lot of money, couple of hundreds, lots of hundreds actually, and it just stopped working. And that's why I've got no idea why it won't work. But they're the big brother of the decos, Keith. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on those. And I'm sure that's not what people didn't come for here, was for the technology talk, especially about mesh Wi-Fi systems. But we are back to Aston Villa talk again, so don't you worry, there won't be any more of that being spoken about again. Rob Henry is hoping that Rodgers scores, as am I, to be honest with you. I'm really hoping. Remy on guard says, why isn't Paddy live from the ground? I think Paddy's doing some showboat drinking at the moment because he's only in Birmingham for like a matter of hours before he is to get back out of there again. I don't know, it's something to do with his ankle bracelet. But I jest, by the way, I jest on that one. But yeah, so I said I'd leave him have it. Plus, also the Aston Inn is, I think he's in the Aston Inn at the moment. Actually, I know he's in the Aston Inn at the moment, and it's packed to the rafters, so he probably won't get any reception in there. So I'll leave him off. He's allowed a day off every now and then. I'm not, but he is. Rob Henry says, congrats to Konza for his Southgate call. Can I ask, did I haven't seen anything. I don't even know who's called up for Ireland. Did Konza get called up for England today? I haven't seen Twitter. As I say, I've been ripping this place apart trying to pull a cable from my house to the office here, and I haven't been able to. I haven't seen sight of day today. So did Konza get called up for England? That's news to me. Apologies. Pop it in the comments there again, if he did. Where else are we? So C-Line, I presume this is about Ramsey. So Unai just said you're checking him in daily, see how he goes. So I think he's just been given more time to make sure he's 100%. Now, I don't think it's ever been mentioned, but I saw something on Twitter to say that it was something to do with a screw in his foot, if I'm not mistaken, and that the screw is rubbing or it's loose or something like that. Now, that's Twitter talk. I don't know if that's true at all, but I can empathize with it because I've got lots of steel work on my left leg, pins and screws and plates. And I too had an issue like that when I was going back playing sports after breaking my ankle, whereby the screw was rubbing against the inside and it was just a bad sensation. But they just went in, they tightened up the screw, they stitched me up, and when the stitches healed a week and a half later, I was right as rain. So hopefully it's only something as simple as that, but I don't know whether that's the case at all. Do not quote me on that, because that was Twitter conjecture that brought that up. So I'm not breaking news here if it hasn't already been mentioned before. Where else are we there? Joe Baran is going for a Watkins hat trick tonight. I can't disagree with you. I'd love him to get back in the score sheet again and get back into his streak, because we need him now over the next few games to bang him in the back of the net, or to continue banging him into the back of the net, should I say. Where else are we here? Ad asks this. Brilliant question, Ad, and I wish Paddy was here, but I'm going to ask you guys to pop these in the comments. Worst case scenario, who are your 5 penalty takers? I don't know why, but I think Alex Moreno would take a good penalty. He's going to be my 5. Yeah, I'm going to put him in my 5. So Douglas Luiz, Rogers, Diaby, Alex Moreno, and McGinn. Yeah, I think I'm confident enough with that. I've obviously left out Watkins. I know Watkins will probably take a penalty, but we know he's missed a few, so I'm just once bitten, twice shy in that one. But I'd be confident with those guys. Yeah, I don't know. Pop it in the comments there, see what you guys think as well on that one. Brendan Walsh says, good match ahead. Raised my eyebrows when I saw Carlos in the team sheet. Time for him to shine. Maybe Rodgers will grab a goal or an assist. 2-0 win for Villa and Watkins to score. Yeah, look, I suppose like Carlos was really getting into form until he did his hamstring that time. As I say, the turn of Christmas, just before Christmas, there was a 5 or 6 game stretch. Well, there was maybe a 4 game stretch, I'd say, where he was really good. He was getting to grips with things. And I think the biggest thing with him is I think he can be a bit lackadaisical at times. For a man his size, he should be throwing his weight around. And I think sometimes he doesn't. But I'm not down on him at all. Look, if you were to ask me, would I if we had a fully fit team, he probably gets in there beside Pau Torres for me. Longley on the bench, Konza right back. But it's a good problem to have, I think, having somebody like him there and having Longley and having Konza and having Cash and all those. I think they're a good problem to have. I just want us all to get back and get up get back up to speed again. I think for sure. Where else are we? West Ham up 3-0 against Freiburg, 5th place, Champions League football getting possible. Yeah, well, it's getting more possible, should you say? Absolutely. Which is nice to see. And he did. Konza did get called up by Southgate. Brilliant. I completely missed that. Completely missed that. I must go and check out to see if the obligatory Jeff Hendrick got called up for Ireland, even though I don't think if John O'Shea called up Jeff Hendrick for Ireland, I think I might have to go and have a word with him myself. I think we're at that stage of the Jeff Hendrick experiment for Ireland. But much love to him. He's a much better footballer than I ever was. So that is for sure. Where else are we? Konza and Watkins called up. Yeah. I'm going to scroll down here a small little bit. So Karma Baby says the penalty takers would be Louis, Digne, McGinn, Powell, and Bailey. Powell, good call on Powell. Good call on Powell. And Nick Gilbert then bursts our bubble. Half of those won't be on the pitch after extra time. You're probably right, Nick. You're probably right. I'd imagine. You know what? I could see Tielemans taking a penalty. I could see Digne taking a penalty. I could see John Duran definitely wanting to take a penalty. Mr. Confidence, absolutely. I could see him wanting to take a penalty. But that is a good thing to call out as well, Nick, that half those people we named probably won't be on the field after extra time. That is a good point for sure. Yeah, most people are going for the same people: Louise, Bailey, McGinn, Watkins, Diaby. Yeah. David Dwyer says big performance from McGinn ahead of his suspension. I reckon. I think so too. I think he's a man who would want to go out as a captain, would as his type of captaincy would be go out and lead by example. I think he. Here's one. So I'm sure that somebody like John McGinn looks at a footballer like Jordan Henderson and can absolutely more than most midfielders in the Premier League appreciate the absolute donkey work he does inside there. Like whatever you want to say about Jordan Henderson and his ill-fated move to Saudi Arabia or whatever else, if you think he's a Marmite footballer, if you think whatever the case may be, the man doesn't lack in work rate. Absolutely doesn't. And neither does our lad in there, John McGinn. And I think game recognises game in that aspect. And I think it's probably fair to say that maybe Jordan Henderson outworked some of our midfielders in Amsterdam. And he's 35, 36 years of age. I think there's a bit of payback to be had there. So I think Mr. Captain McGinn will want to go out there and give his all-action, lung-busting performance tonight and drive this team on, because he will know that Wolves, West Ham are games that we need him for, and that City is a game we need him for as well. If we had any, considering we've beaten City already this season, it would be absolutely monumental if we did the double over City. But, when we have our full 11 fit and ready, it's a case whereby, we can give people a game. Okay, it didn't happen at the weekend, but we can give people a game. But now McGinn's going to be out for that. So today's his last chance to impress for the next 3 weeks. And I bet you he will do that. I bet you he's going to have an absolute banger of a game for sure. It's a 9 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand, says Des Williams. Well, fair play to you, Des. I hope, I hope you've got time off work to watch it for sure. Where else are we? I'm just going to scroll down here. Apologies if I'm missing any great takes that you guys have. Cat Cannon asks, has Bailey ever scored a penalty? I'm 99% certain he scored them for Jamaica. 99% certain he scored them in the Gold Cup. Crazy o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty sure I saw him score a penalty in the Gold Cup this year. But good question. He's not scored a penalty for Villa, I don't think. I don't think he's taken one. Yeah. Bertie W is asking, is this a 4-2-4? It's not a 4-2-4, I would imagine. I think Diaby behind Watkins with Rodgers on the left, Bailey on the right, McGinn and Douglas Luiz through the centre. I think that's the way that we played there as well. Where else are we? Bailey missed one against the US, says Sports Daily CBB. I remember him taking a penalty, all right, in the Gold Cup, but as I say, I remember seeing him take it. And as Michael Huggins says, stop talking of penalties. Yes, hopefully we won't need penalties at all. And I don't think we're going to need penalties. I think Aston Villa go and win 2-0 today. Stephen Berghaus is out for Ajax tonight. I think there was somebody that they were going to maybe play in this game. And that's Stephen Bergwijn is going to be playing, but Berghaus is out for this game. And I never brought up the Ajax team. Sure, I didn't. Let's have a look at the Ajax team there. Firstly, And while I'm doing that, if you guys want to start putting in your your score predictions there, we'll rattle off those score predictions. Gosh, they really love the Aston Villa dressing rooms. There was a ton of pictures of the Aston Villa dressing rooms up. But here's the Ajax team. It's Remain goals. Wrench is back in there with Hato, Henderson. Oh well, they've gone numerical. So you've got Wrench probably at right back, Hato, Kaplan, and Satalo are probably the two are all the center backs with where are we there? We're probably Sosa, I would say, left side, left back, Borna Sosa. Yeah, left back. Then we're going to have Henderson and Mansverk in the middle with Broby up top and Taylor and Hilson playing either side of him. So I think that's how they're probably going to set up. Well, it's definitely how they're going to set up, I would say. Today on the bench they have Geronimo Rulli, the brilliantly named Geronimo Rulli, as well. They have Pasveer, they have Guy Akpom, Forbes, Medic, Rykhoff, Van den Boomen, who came on, who I really like as a player. They have Voss, Fitzjim, Tahirovic, and Gotts, who that guy Gotts come in on the bench instead of Stephen Burgos, or Stephen Burgoyne. Should I say, there for Ajax tonight. So that's their team. Yeah, bring it on. I'm still going with a 2-0 win for Aston Villa today. I'm going with a 2-0 win for Aston Villa. If, like, we're playing at home, away goals don't count. Yeah, let's go for it. 2-0 win for Aston Villa today. So where are we? Remy Ongar, what's the national dish in Ireland? They're going to say stew, but really the national dish in Ireland is bacon and cabbage. It really is. And if anybody else answers anything other than bacon and cabbage, DM me. I'll give you my address. We'll have a heated debate over it. We'll have a heated debate for sure. Captain Nugget says 3-1 to Villa. Scott Taggart is going 3-1 as well. 3-1 says C. Liney. 4-0 says Junior Bennett. 2-0 says Richard Franks. 1-0 says Kavanagh Keneally. 3-1 says David Finn. 2-1 says Flange. Oh, there she goes. Tyro O'Block says 4-1. Gav D says 3-1. Dream Villain says 3-0. Jer Kerwin says 2-1. Paul Miller is going 2-0 as well as myself. 2-0 says Jordy Villain. 3-1 says Lee Smith. 3-0 says Nicole. Dave Dwyer says Nervy 2-1. Standing on the word says Villa win on penalties after a 1-1 draw. Joe Baran is asking, is Paddy over for the game? He is indeed. Tesh P says 3-1. 5-0 says Kavanagh Keneally. Tony Belfast is going for 3-0. Michael Huggins is going for 2-1. 3-0 says Rob Henry. 2-0 says Michael Smith. Zink is asking, Neil, if West Ham win the UEFA, does that mean fifth does not qualify? No, I think fifth does qualify. I think it takes away our Conference League place, but I'm open to correction on that. I think that would mean that we could technically have 6 teams. I'm almost certain, and then our Conference League spot goes. But open to correction on that. It's 5-0 to West Ham now, they say. Pete Stills going for 3-0 today. Dave Dams is going with 3-1. Nick Gilbert is going 3-2 Villa. Chris Hammond is going with 3-2 after time. Our Adventure is going for 3-1. Keith Baran is going for 3-1. Chris is going for 3-0. Paddy 12, Beer 0. That's a scoreline that could happen. Jordan Levy going with 3-1. Lena Peterson is going with 4-1. 3-1 says Richie Ryan. 0-0 and Villa and penalty says Bertie. John Tau says 1-0. 2-0 says the MacBees. Michael O'Brien says 4-0. 1-1 penalty shootout would be 4-3 says Rex. Vi says 2-1 Villa. 3-0 win. 3-0. And yeah, Zinko's asking his question again. So 3-0. 3-1 says 2 Cash 666. Hand of Hugo says 3-0. 2-2 winning in extra time says Des Williams. Bob Tomlinson is going with 2-0. 2-1 says Patrick Hopkinson. 3-1 says CC. And Cat Cannon says 3-1. And Paul Miller is saying Carl Cannon is Ireland's dish. No, lads, it's bacon and cabbage. Bacon and cabbage with lashings of Kerrygold butter and about half a mountain of salt, and just relax and let it soak through your arteries. That's the way it is. Leave the fat on the bacon and just enjoy it as if it's your last meal. That's what I would say. And wash it down with a pint of Guinness if you're having it in in a pub. If not, wash it down with a nice glass of milk like a child if you're drinking it, if you're having it at home. And that to me, if I was on death row in the morning and I was given my last meal, it would be bacon and cabbage with a pint of Guinness and a glass of milk. And so there you go. Now, lads, that's an insight into my into my last win and testament there as well. I bet you never thought you'd get that, along with mesh Wi-Fi advice that I was giving out earlier on. But we've covered an awful lot of ground today. This is what happens when Paddy isn't around. This is what happens. You get an insight into all the weird things that go on in my head at the best of times. But we're 7:30. Well, we're 32 minutes past 7 now. So I better let you guys get ready for the game. As I say, I'm hoping Villa will win tonight. I'm expecting Villa to win tonight, and I'm not expecting it out of cockiness or anything like that, but I'm expecting it out of I suppose on the back of Aston Villa having a poor performance at the weekend is why I'm expecting this. I'm expecting a backlash. I'm expecting them to get at this Ajax team at home and get through to the next round. But it will be a tough game. They will have to be on their toes. Ajax are no mugs. I know that the season isn't going well for them, but they are no mugs, and they're steeped in European history and pedigree. They will know, even though they've got a very young team, they will know how to play these ties. The likes of Kenneth Taylor, who I'm so high on. I think he's just be brilliant in this Aston Villa team. He's 21 years of age. He's got 3 European campaigns behind him. Same with Brian Broby. He's got European campaigns behind him with Ajax, with RB Leipzig. Same with Borna Sosa. Same with Jordan Henderson. You know, so these guys know how to play in European football, and they will be prepared. And we will have to take them very, very seriously. But I'm going with 2-0 Aston Villa, and we will be back with a post-match podcast afterwards, as long as my potato-powered internet holds up for the time being. But thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. There's been 600 people here watching this. That's absolutely bonkers. Thank you so much. As I say, there's probably not 600 people watching some of the Irish language programs on Irish TV at the moment right now. So it always fills my heart with absolute wonderment that you guys choose to join us. And I do thank you so much for your time, because it's really, really appreciated. Also, as well, with regards to the post-match podcast, we'll be on straight away afterwards, win, lose or draw. It'll be a shorter post-match podcast because I do have to travel. I have to go travel with work. I'm on location with work tomorrow, but so it will be a shorter one because I've got to get in the road, but we'll see you anyway afterwards. Go in, enjoy the game, and hopefully we see Aston Villa win. And in the meantime, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.